It's really interesting. A lot of them are just not looking at him at all, even though he's standing and talking. That's really interesting. And nobody's amused, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, they just thought it was puzzling that they would be out considering all the things that have been said in this war between Blake and Justin. So
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively seem to be not the ideal couple everyone believes they are. Word on the street is some celebs are finally revealing on how these two tried to pull a quick one. From dubious business deals to covert Hollywood moves, the receipts are showing, and Blake and Ryan are not looking great. People are not happy either. Specifically, what did they do, and why are celebrities calling them out right now? Here's what's going on. The cracks are beginning to show in Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's world right now, and things seem fairly dark. Celebrities are emerging from the woodwork, casting significant shadow on the couple, and exposing that their flawless public image could simply be a cover for something far messier. And believe me, this situation is about to explode rather significantly. Everything began when Blake Lively leveled some grave accusations against Justin Baldoni, her co-star and director of It Ends With Us. She accused him of harassment, which already had people talking. But then as things started to fall apart, several business insiders started to wonder if Blake's assertions were all they seemed. Amid the turmoil, Justin Baldoni brought a $400 million lawsuit against Blake and Ryan, alleging defamation, extortion, and attempts at movie project hijacking. And today it's not only Justin voicing opinions, other celebrities are beginning to support him, implying that Ryan and Blake have a past of using circumstances to advance and win public pity. Their power couple image seems to be covering some sinister, manipulative strategies used to propel them ahead in the game. Therefore, even if they have been the ideal couple in Hollywood for years, this entire scenario is gradually revealing them as con artists having a protracted history. Might their ideal image be ending here? Though it's difficult to say, the cracks are most certainly showing. First, let us begin with Ryan. Alright, so you know Ryan Reynolds always strikes as this incredibly funny, charming man. As it happens, not everyone is buying it. His true nature came through when he ran across Jersey Shore stars Dina Carisi and Sammy Giancola, and let's just say it wasn't a nice guy. When the Jersey cast visited Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, they were asked whether they had ever encountered a nasty celeb. Sammy tried to be low-key about it since, let's be honest, calling out big names in Hollywood can backfire real fast. But Dina spilled the tea and straightforwardly said they were talking about Ryan Reynolds before she could avoid the question. Though she told Soul in The Blow that he wasn't great to us, I still love Ryan and Blake Lively. To be honest though, if you have to say that, something most definitely went wrong. Sammy also suggested that Ryan might have simply had a bad day. But the fact that they even brought it up says a lot, and they're not the only ones who have been reluctant to call names when discussing nasty celebrity interactions. Even Rebecca Ferguson once told about how poorly she was treated on set. She just detailed how traumatizing the experience was, rather than calling names.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, "You call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this?" And I stood there just breaking. This happens. But because this person was number one on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." It's the first time I've ever...
Alright, so Rebecca told me about a crazy incident she had with a really nasty co-star, and let me tell you, it was horrible. She dropped no names, but given her description, yes, it was intense. Apparently, this mystery actor was quite self-conscious about his performance and began projecting it onto Rebecca, literally yelling at her in front of the whole crew and denigrating her acting. Imagine being screamed at on set just for working. It got so bad Rebecca claimed she would actually cry during filming. Still, listen, she clapped back rather than merely absorbed it. She straight up once told this person to F off, and even mentioned she would prefer use the tennis ball than handle them. Whew, she also asked to act from behind their head instead of facing them on set. Many actors, including Dwayne Johnson, who provided her props for standing her ground, rallied behind her once her story exploded. Even some of her former co-stars hit her following the viral story. The great question now is, who was this mystery actor? Rebecca is keeping that locked, saying it doesn't matter who it is, but just so you all know, she made it rather evident that it wasn't Tom Cruise or Hugh Jackman. Though some people still believe Ryan Reynolds was it most likely wasn't him either. Rebecca isn't the only one Ryan Reynolds offended. It turns out that Jake Gyllenhaal, who was once extremely close to Ryan, has also completely turned away from him, and people believe Ryan must have done something that crossed the line, since Jake isn't even engaging him anymore. And if that wasn't sufficient, we also discussed Marina Baker, also known as the main lady from Deadpool. You all remember how she essentially vanished in the sequel from being a major character in the first movie? That wasn't random, though. Word on the street is that she ran afoul of Ryan on set. And following that, she was pushed to the sidelines in real life as much as in the film. Get this, Marina was totally left out of all the present events when Deadpool and Wolverine started making headlines, and at the premiere she was standing by herself in the red carpet picture. Like, it was quite clear that people are claiming Ryan is responsible. Supposedly their past drama drove him away from her. Messy, untidy, messy. What then precisely got down between them? Some claim it had to do with her performance in the film, or perhaps even some jokes Ryan wanted to feature and she wasn't here for it. Whatever the case, Ryan seemed unhappy about being challenged, thus he did what many influential Hollywood people do. He made sure she was left out, and judging by how everyone else was all smiles around Ryan at the premiere, she lacked much support either. Sound familiar? Since this ends with us, Vibe's Hollywood power moves at their best and involves significant Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
After he got super famous from the first Deadpool, then things kind of changed. I think he was like, see, you guys see? And then I think I don't know. I mean, would I work with him again? No.
No.
I would not work with him
That
again.
much vitriol.
But I've said that about Michael Bay, and now we're friends, and I would work with him again. But I think Michael Bay is different. And Michael Bay worked on a movie with Ryan Reynolds also. And so he has a very specific opinion
That may mirror
of
your
Ryan
own.
Reynolds. And that was a good part of our last conversation with me and Bay. But I sort of wish him well because he's so good at Deadpool. And I think it's weird that he hates.
Oh, but Brian's list of burn ties just keeps expanding, thus we're not done yet. TJ Miller, another Deadpool co-star, likewise had a lot to say about working with Ryan, and none of it was positive. TJ, who portrayed Weasel in the franchise Straightforward, claimed he left the movies due to Ryan and would not return for Deadpool 3, even if his pay doubled. That is personally relevant now. He also made it plain that he never would work with Ryan once again, since he never got over his treatment on set. And TJ insists Ryan wasn't being funny, he was purposefully trying to discredit him without any regret, before anyone tries to dismiss it as a joke. Though TJ was merely playing a minor character, he couldn't understand why Ryan had such a problem with him. But he believes Ryan's own fears are the true cause. It was about Ryan needing to remind him who the more famous star was, not about anything TJ done.
Felt it coming from him.
Everybody did. That's why it was awkward. Everybody was like, why is Ryan doing this? And the other weird thing is, like, maybe he got, I think he's kind of an insecure dude. He's really nice, but I mean, his Twitter bio is showing you the parts of me that tested the best in focus groups. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that he's joking.
So,
I think that might actually be his real sentiment there.
Let's be honest, Ryan's been called insecure before. Even his exes have admitted the same. Actually, his insecurities left scars on his ex-wife and their breakup was messy. But, back to Deadpool, TJ wasn't the only one having problems with Ryan. Original Deadpool director Tim Miller left the company, and guess what? Ryan was the reason it happened. Tim said Ryan wanted complete control over the franchise, and when Tim pushed back, Ryan made sure he was pushed out. Ryan was so picky over the movies that it made it impossible to deal with him. Tim said bluntly, "I'm not mind debating, but I want not to play if I can't win." When Ryan isn't pushing directors out of their own projects or alienating his co-stars, he's apparently doing the same in his romantic relationships. Ryan is calling all the shots, and it was time to leave. Look at how things turned out with Scarlett Johansson. Marriage was a disaster. Oh, this is where things get real messy, since Scarlett Johansson did not hold back regarding the reason her marriage to Ryan broke down, so let us turn back. We began dating in 2007, engaged within a year, and then tied the knot in 2008. A few years forward, things rapidly broke down. The interesting thing is that their marriage just happened to be falling apart about the same time. With big Marvel roles like Iron Man 2 and the Avengers, Scarlett's career shot skyward, and she claims this wasn't just a coincidence. She has been hinting about what actually went down ever since they split. The two words that come up most often are jealousy and insecurity. Scarlett flat out once said, "I dislike jealous behavior. I'm okay with a sporadic check-in, but it's ugly when someone is passively aggressively jealous since it reveals insecurity." Managing behavior is terrible. Nobody is going to say they love that. Ryan loves to be in charge. Just see how he seized over Deadpool and drove the director out. Apparently, he followed this pattern in his marriage as well. With Scarlett, Ryan was struggling with his career, so landing significant Marvel deals makes perfect sense. Why Scar believes her success was one of the factors their marriage failed for. She even said, "The logistics of being with another actor are difficult. There has to be a real understanding of how you share your time, especially when two people's careers are going at the same pace. Even if one person is more successful than the other, that also shows difficult nature of competition." Basically, Scarlett was out here securing blockbuster roles, Ryan wasn't handling it well, and if that wasn't enough, she went even further, calling her experience with Ryan erratic and strongly implying that Ryan's insecurities ruined things. She even remarked, "Although in a marriage there will always be a more successful person, Ryan never wanted to be the least successful one." And now, the true test arrives. Ryan met Blake on the Green Lantern set while still married to Scarlett. Apparently their chemistry was irresistible, so strong that they couldn't even keep it together on set. Ryan's ego and jealousy were causing him to lose control of his marriage to Scar, thus it became quite easy for him to grab onto Blake in an unhealthy manner, which finally destroyed his marriage. Ryan seems to be causing the word insecure more than ever to surface. We cannot overlook how frequently it appears in the narrative of his ex-partners. To be honest, given the volume of discussion on it, it is far too coincidental to be explained. That's not all, though. Let's discuss how Ryan's Hollywood record isn't exactly drawing in any admirers. Since Ryan is known for essentially seizing their projects and essentially running over them, either directors are literally afraid to work with him. For instance, Quentin Tarantino flatly said he is not about to work with Ryan, since, in his view, Ryan is only a well-paid actor with zero quality projects under his belt. He said without reservation that every Netflix movie makes roughly $50 million, yet he has never heard of them, and most people would agree. Basically, Quentin is calling out Ryan's whole filmography, saying, "Yes, cool, you're making money, but your movies are forgettable." Oof, significant shadow thrown by a man disinterested in collaborating with streaming companies like Netflix. Ryan has lately produced movies including 6 Underground, Red Notice, and The Adam Project. Still, hold back since, with Chris Columbus, the director of Home Alone, things get even more delicious. Ryan attempted to restart Home Alone, but not any sort of reboot, a stoner version called Stoned Alone. It centers on a guy who grows weeds missing his flight and subsequently finds a lot of burglars breaking into his house. Chris Columbus turned out, fuming over the idea, calling it an insult to the art of cinema, straight up told Ryan to forget it and just watch the original since the idea of turning it into a stoner flick was disrespectful. Yes, this was the actual plot idea. And I understand this is not some arbitrary Netflix film. This is Home Alone. Chris missed it, but wait, there is more. Other celebs calling his films trash have also joined this anti-Ryan movement. Loki's Gerard Butler shined when his movie Gamer was paraded against Ryan's Free Guy. Virtual reality runs under both films, but when asked about the parallels, Gerard said, "I'm not sure what Free Guy is." Gerard then answered, "I don't watch Ryan Reynolds films," when the interviewer mentioned that it's his movie. Now, that's significant shade. Thus, Quentin Tarantino's rejection of Ryan's films isn't entirely discountable. Chris Columbus finds Ryan's concepts offensive, and Gerard Butler made it abundantly evident he is not a fan either. To be honest, when so many people start casting shadows, you have to start wondering, is Ryan truly as insecure as his exes claim, or is it just Hollywood? Either way, he's definitely rubbing some big names the wrong way. Just look at this strange SNL look and say that it isn't so.
Ryan.
Great. Why? What have you heard? Yeah, okay. Well, my question is that, you know that the materials that they made the cone heads with, are those edible?
Edible? No, and based on them being made in 1975, I'd assume that they're highly toxic.
Oh, okay. So if somebody, hypothetically took a couple of nibbles backstage and, got excited, should they go to the hospital or should they?
Yes, they should go to the hospital right away.
Good.
The way Blake and Ryan appeared on Saturday night's Liv's 50th anniversary celebration has become yet another PR disaster. Clearly, they were trying to shape public opinion and control the story while they were mired in their legal mess. Blake was playing along when Ryan joked about his continuous legal drama with Justin Baldoni, but the timing of it felt off. It was embarrassing, particularly given all that has been happening with the harassment allegations. Many of the fans, who referred to this little stunt as damage control and a poor attempt to make oneself seem more likable among the turmoil, felt it unacceptable. Even Justin's attorney intervened, challenging how anyone would joke about these sorts of claims. Ultimately, it seems as though the ideal picture of this couple is beginning to fall apart, and their attempts to hide it just don't seem to be working out. Given Blake and Ryan might have been nothing but con artists all this time, what do you think about this? Before the others informed us about it in the comments section, did you suspect something?